Well, hello, my lovelies. It is a very interesting energy update. I tried to keep that wire over there, but it's not going to happen. It's okay. The first card, if you're new to this channel, we do 3 card pull readings, and yeah, we got 4 cards today, so this isn't really like a past, present, future type of update. This is more of just a general update of what's coming into fruition with this. We're in a transition period with, like, we're in between eclipses right now, and there's a lot of energy going around right now, and it's kind of stirring up a lot of things in the universe. So you'll see a lot of this stuff transpire over the next few weeks. With that being said, we're kind of in our own world anyway, so we don't really worry too much about what goes on in the media and everything else. But with that being said, the first card that we got here was the Two of Cups. So it's almost like we're coming into this connection with a specific person. So there's this energy of, I'm not even necessarily sure that it's romantic energy, but it's more so of like a mutual connection, like a mutual interest, this agreement of energy exchange here. And you see how he's almost kind of like, he's got his hand towards the other cup, the lady's cup, and it's almost like they're getting ready to exchange cups. She's got it kind of like leaned towards him to kind of like emphasize. Is it leaned, or am I just crazy? I think I'm just crazy, actually. But it looked like it was leaned, but you know what I mean. Like they're in the intent of exchanging this energy, these cups here. And so it's a beautiful dance, and it's going to bring you into this state over the next few months. You're going to be working towards your ultimate goals here for next year, 511. And so we have this world card here. So this is a signifier of abundance and everything that's coming in for you, but this is also a mirror. This is like your reflection period. So this is like why it feels like almost like stagnant, or not necessarily like you feel stuck, but you just don't feel like things are really like moving or shifting the way that you want them to, or they're just not really moving faster than you would like them to. And so this is a period of reflection. And so it's going to allow you to kind of see, where you came from, all the things, all the steps, the things that you worked on. It's also going to give you a lot more clarity on like karmic relationships, karmic situationships, and why we go through things to better understand ourselves more so than just the other person. It's not about the other person's ish, it's about our own ish. And so being in a karmic relationship actually allows us to heal a lot more things about ourselves than what we are normally ready to face. 512 mirror. So you know what I mean? Like there's this important energy that comes through with these karmic relationships, and it's not to say that the partnership that's coming through is a karmic relationship. But these things, they give you time to kind of reflect and kind of see like your own growth and your own journey. And that's really important because it helps humble you and noble you and just kind of prepare you for the next chapter of your life where you're just solely focused on self. But you have this like nobility about you where you are capable of still helping others. You just help others in your own way now. Like you don't have to be drained in order to successfully help other people. Like you learn that doesn't actually help people anyway, and so your path is really teaching people how to create their own abundance in the same ways that you taught yourself. And so it's like you taught yourself all of this energy and all of these methods, and so you're bringing this energy to allow it to communicate with other people so they can understand it and they can bring it into their own life. And so the last card that we got here from this tarot deck was the Page of Wands. I seriously don't know how it came out, but it just was there on the table. But yeah, this is the Page of Wands. So this is you really manifesting your dreams and your desires. But this is like, this is you being able to do that with much more ease without having to focus on all of the other details, all of like the intricate details, because sometimes we get so caught up worrying about like everything else that goes on in the world, and wanting to just kind of like be able to like I don't know, not necessarily fix things, but really wanting to and it comes from like a place of wanting control, or just kind of like, this is a really complicated one. This is really complicated to understand, sorry. But this goes into more of like the spiritual self, of understanding like the best way to help others is to help yourself. And I know that sounds like maybe like selfish, but really like the best way to teach others how to improve themselves is to improve yourself first. So people can see it, like they can, one, have an example of what it's like to kind of actually have your shit together. Um, but also to see like what benefit you can actually get from doing the hard work and putting the like the real work in, where you're working on yourself. You're working on how you treat others, how you manage yourself, how you manage the world around you. Like these things are important skills that not a lot of people actually have. And so when they see it in other people, like it's like a domino effect. It happens on social media. That's like literally how entrepreneurship works now, is through influencer marketing. So I mean, it's not even necessarily like we're here to influence the way people think, but the way that we perceive things and our own examples and our own ways of perception allows other people to open their mind up to other perceptions, to allow them to have a deeper understanding of things and being able to understand things differently. Because you can't really see what's like outside of the box unless you're standing outside of the box, sort of thing. I don't know, but it's really about gaining more insight, because we're just like these little specks in the universe and we don't have everything figured out, but we think on like a very egotistical level, even if we don't admit it to ourselves, that we have a lot more figured out than we really do. And so we get caught up and we get stuck in a lot of places doing so. So the point here is to kind of breach out of these cycles. So we're not sitting here thinking that we have the whole world figured out. We still have our own intuition and our own wisdom that's brought us to where we are. And so we have this respect for their own insight and experiences that we have gone through, that allows us to realize that we do have a little bit more wisdom and knowledge than what we give ourselves credit for. I know it sounds complicated, but it's really not that complicated. It's about getting raw intelligence. It's about getting raw experience. And ooh, girl. It's about getting, oh, that's funny. I'm a Virgo and I've been having tummy problems. That's funny. But it's really about digesting the information. It's really about digesting the information and digesting the growth and the world around you, and how things work, how things grow, how things flourish, and how energy exchange and how it blossoms back into the rest of the world. So having that wisdom is really going to bring you into this next chapter. So again, like I said, don't start your New Year's resolution during December. Don't start it in January. Don't start it in November. Start it right now. We are still in October, so you can still give yourself a whole freaking month of November to start your year off right next year. And that is like a whole freaking month and almost a half of preparation, bro. Like, it's not a whole half, but yeah, so if you're going to be serious, which I highly believe that you're going to be serious about next year, just start it now, because starting it now is going to give you much more of a head start, but it's also going to allow you to really see the the magnetic energy that you have, that's just kind of chilling inside of you, because you just weren't, it's not necessarily that you didn't have it already, you just weren't necessarily ready. And I know that sounds bitter, I know that sounds like not what you want to hear or whatever, but it's actually really important, because this is important. This is important. We're pulling from the Pleasure Oracle deck. We pulled from the Star Codes Astro deck earlier. Sorry, I didn't mention that. Yeah, to take the path of the sensual seeker is to commit yourself to forever explore your emotional, physical, and mental terrains in the name of love. You'll meet others on your passage, but not all are seekers like you. Plenty have no interest in self-acceptance, let alone self-love. And those who cannot love themselves cannot love you. And so your important break here is self-love, because we had to go through a lot of important things on our journey and facing a lot of our shit to really, really understand healing and growth, and activate more of this self-love, because we're going into this area of self-love. So this is where this abundance and the main character energy comes through, and why it has to be in this step in order for it to be the positive experience you want it to be. So make a list of 30 essential qualities you desire in a kindred seeker. I want you to do this because this is important. Find people who aim for knowledge in all things. Find those who pursue pleasure wholeheartedly, because they know the more we each feel whole, alive, and powerful, the better off this beautiful blue boat we call Earth will be. We're all voyaging together after all. Safe journeying. How many times is journey gonna come up today? We might as well play some music. But okay, I wanted to go back to this. So make a list of 30 essential qualities you desire in a kindred seeker. So find the qualities in a partner that you want. Write them down with every intent for that to be the other person. And then at the end, I want you to go through that list. I don't want you to do this. Okay, so don't think about this last part while you're making the list. Just make the list, pause the video. This is important. Pause the video now. After you make the list, come back. And in good faith, you paused the video and came back. So after you make that list, there's a dog barking, sorry. After you make that list, just go through and I want you to check off all of those qualities and see. I just want you to rate them like 1 through 4. You don't even have to rate them, just mark them off if you really want to. And just kind of reflect. Don't be so hard on yourself, okay? This is not the point of this experiment. Don't be hard on yourself, but just go through all of those qualities and see if any of those qualities you can strongly, wholeheartedly believe that you deserve a 4, you know? And just go through. I honestly would suggest rating them 1 through 4, like each 30. You don't have to do 30. You could do like 15 or like 20, but 30 is a really good number because it will give you a lot more access to information about yourself that you didn't know that you had. So look through those qualities and just kind of look through them and see, you know, do I have these qualities myself? Can I uphold these standards myself? Like, and if you can't, you are not perfect. Nobody is. Not even the person that you're going to find on earth is going to have all of those qualities anyway. And if you do, keep them forever. I am just kidding. This is an experiment, okay? So just go through that list and, you know, do this as shadow work, because this is important shadow work for yourself. This isn't about another person. This isn't about your relationships so much as it is about you, yourself. So you yourself going through the healing and all of this shadow work is what's going to bring you into a stronger relationship with another individual. So that is why we're going through self first, and then we're going to work on all of the other qualities and things that we can figure out about building connections, because that is a lot more complicated than working on yourself. So work on yourself. That is your priority. It should always be your priority. Like, looking for all of these different qualities in a different person is never really going to make you satisfied, because you have all of these like expectations in life. And it's not to say that you shouldn't have expectations necessarily. It's just like there's this unsatisfied feeling of not getting exactly what you desire if you fixate in and kind of worry about the things that you never, I don't know. It really boils down to the individual, but some of us have like these crazy expectations for other people that we can't really hold up ourselves. So you just got to be honest with yourself and really work on your own processes, because that alone is not going to distract you from finding a partner, but it's going to distract you from finding a partner. And what I mean by that is you're not going to be looking for somebody, you're going to be doing the work on yourself, and that person is going to find you. So be the person that you want. And this isn't necessarily a romantic reading. This is more so of like doing the inner work reading, so you can experience more in this next year, because this is like a reading for next year. This is you getting into that state of being. So look at it that way, and do all of this reflection to see all of the growth that you have done, and maybe even look at those 30 qualities and see if you had those qualities like a few years ago, and just give yourself credit, because it's not necessarily an assessment about like, are you just being too highly expectative of the world, but it's necessarily more about you yourself doing the actual inner work, because we sometimes say we're doing the work, sometimes we do the work and we're not actually like preach or doing what we preach, teaching what we preach, or something like that. I don't even know what that saying is now, because I've made it way too complicated. But you gotta practice what you preach. There you go. You gotta practice what you preach. So that's the important part. It's not about rating yourself. It's not about having all 30 qualities either, but it is about reflecting on your growth and what have you grown into and what have you grown out of. So I hope you enjoyed today's reading. I hope you actually do that little experiment, because it's really useful. It's about you. It's not about the other person. It's about you. It's for you. So just take it that way. I hope you enjoyed today's reading. Even if you didn't, just hit that like and subscribe button and share this, because it helps me help you, help other people, and help me and you, because yeah, that's how it works.